was a good game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't believe! How is he elite? I know! It doesn't make sense. Let's go!
Give me what I want!
Kick down the door!
Drew, you are not doing this!
What the?
Not nice!
There's a giant head!
You hear yourself!
I made like 2,000 of these. I'd like to have fun.
With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR.
Victory, puppy Ziggy! I got nothing at Ryan O'Reilly's a Leaf. It's no comeback. There's more. They got Nola Chari as well. Can't stop, won't stop. Nola Chari is a Leaf. Leafs win 5-1 over the Montreal Canadiens. And I still can't believe it. Dude, the game almost feels secondary, but like we're gonna talk about it on account of there were 6 goals and the Leafs scored 5 of them. But watching that, dude, streaming that live was one of the most surreal experiences as a Leaf fan I've had in a long time. Let's talk about it. First, real quick, think you know which way it's gonna go? Like, for example, do you think your team is gonna get some obscure winger from the Chicago Blackhawks and instead they get Ryan O'Reilly? Well, then you should make your bet at Sports Interaction. Sports Interaction has you covered pre-game, live betting on all major sports, baseball's about to come back, and prop bets. Want to bet? Visit sportsinteraction.com/STPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/STPN, and download the Sports Interaction app. But only if you're 19 plus, and please play responsibly. Talked about it on the podcast before. $2 Steve. That's my max. I put $2 on the Leafs to win. They won! I also bet on O'Reilly and Achari to score, and they didn't. But they won the game, so I'm still pretty happy. Dude, like, this is wild. I read a tweet. I saw a tweet it was 10:13 tonight, February 18th. It was just after the game. I saw a tweet at 10:13 tonight of Ryan O'Reilly wearing the Leafs MVP belt. And I sat there for a moment and went, the trade happened less than 24 hours ago. After the game was almost the more entertaining thing. Like Sheldon Keefe and everyone, they're walking everyone through the process after the trade. O'Reilly and Achari found out that they were traded to Toronto and they insisted on going to Toronto and playing in Toronto the very next night against the Montreal Canadiens, which, I mean, historic thing. You can understand why. But then they forgot their equipment at the arena in St. Louis and Ryan O'Reilly had to get the keys and perform a heist and get his stuff. And then he also got Achari's stuff because of politeness. And then the lineup card. The lineup card. Let's talk about the Leafs roster for tonight. Because I saw it and oh, did I laugh. Oh, are we all silly geese? Look at you. Yeah, we're all silly geese. Because the Leafs get Ryan O'Reilly and we're all like, man, that's the third line center they've been looking for. Oh, yeah, they got Ryan O'Reilly to play third line center. I don't know why I thought that would be a thing. So they show the lines. The first line is Michael Bunting, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, which is an amazing tease because that's just the first line. They made an earth-shattering trade that was guaranteed to blow up the forward roster whatever they had before, and the first line is untouched, which means the bottom 9 is gonna be wild, interplanetary. So then they show the second line, which is Mitch Marner on the right, that's normal, Ryan O'Reilly at center, pardon, and John Tavares at left wing. After all this time, Leafs Nation, that it was right under our nose, the left winger John Tavares has been looking for is John Tavares. Wait. No, dude, oh God. Oh, I wish I was a fly on the wall for that meeting with Dubas because I tweeted this out. You all know when the Leafs announced the trade, I was, parents, earmuffs with the, okay, good. I was baked. Adam Wilde was at my house. Podcast co-host Adam Wilde was at my house. And we saw it come across the ticker because we were watching TV. And then we checked it on our phone, and we both looked up from our phone at the exact same moment and thought the same thing. Wow! What a wild event to be baked for! Also, I definitely can't make a video, and I know a lot of you wanted me to make a video, and no, you're mean. But I'm just imagining the Leafs, having a couple of those gummies that make you sleepy and laugh a bunch, and just having a meeting, talking about what they should do at the deadline, and Dubas going, wait! What if we get a Conn Smythe winner and move Tavares to the wing? And they're all laughing and hugging and falling over each other because it's so ridiculous. And there's Brandon Pridham with a calculator we could actually do that. Call Minnesota. Brandon, you good, dude? They don't play for Minnesota. Oh, Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that. But wait. That still wasn't the wildest experience. The wildest experience for anybody in hockey, anybody in Leafs fandom, for finding out about this trade, the wildest story belongs to Joseph Woll, who was the starting goalie for this game. I had the pleasure of meeting Joseph Woll very shortly after he was drafted in 2016, and he was just such a pleasant, polite little scamp. I couldn't help but think, you know what? This guy gives off major James Reimer vibes. Just the vibes. And then this comes out from Mike Stevens of the Hockey News. Joseph Woll found out about the trade when he looked at the lineup chart this morning and went, what happened to our lines? Says he doesn't have social media, so he was in the dark until he arrived at the rink. Do you comprehend what you just heard? The Leafs made a trade, the most earth-shattering deadline trade they've made since 2004. I had a few people be like, what about Jake Muzzin? Way bigger than Jake Muzzin, I'm sorry. This is their biggest deadline acquisition since Brian Leetch in 2004. Zero hyperbole. Name a bigger one, you can't. That happens at 10:52 p.m. Eastern. And it's Friday night, so a lot of people are up. But perhaps Joseph Woll wasn't, on account of he had a game the next day and wanted to have some sleepies. So while we're all losing our minds, looking at our phones and everything, this dude, this man woke up the next day. What? He must have set an alarm. I know he doesn't have social media. Did he set an alarm? Did he read his text? Does he get texts? Is Joseph Woll secretly a 57-year-old man? He woke up somehow, I guess not from a phone alarm, unless it's on like airplane mode or something. He woke up, he had a shower, he had breakfast, he got to the arena somehow, whether he walked or took a car or maybe even took public transit. He got through the building. He probably said, hey, how you doing? Made small talk with security and everyone walking through the door. And even teammates. Was he the first one there? He didn't get to talk to anybody? The way he found out was the lineup chart in the room? I want to know what he thought. Did he look at the second line and go, oh, Morgan's a forward tonight? He found out from the lineup chart! Okay, no. Absolutely not. No. We have to protect Joseph Woll at all costs. At all costs! If he faces a single shot, you're all going to jail. How dare you make him work? Steve, talk about the game? I am talking about the game, dude. This is the sort of thing I was thinking about the entire first period when there were no goals scored. And they were out shooting the Habs, and sometimes there would be a shot from number 90. There's never been a number 90. Literally, there's never been a number 90. Who is that? That's so ridiculous. Noel Acciari, I believed. I was like, oh, that's the new guy. But seeing Ryan O'Reilly in a Leaf uniform, it's just, I'm watching a higher definition Hut at this point. That's a video game. He almost scored, right away. Went to intermission, I still didn't believe it. And then the Leafs allowed a goal in the first minute of the second period, and O'Reilly was on the ice for it, and I'm like, I believe it now. Mike Matheson takes a shot from the point. Josh Anderson bullies TJ Brody out of the way. It goes off of Josh Anderson because it always seems to go off Josh Anderson whenever the Leafs play the Habs, and the Habs have the 1-0 lead. Now, this might sound like a bold thing to say because the Leafs had not beaten the Montreal Canadiens before this game, but when the Habs went up 1-0, it was like, all right, let's win. We had our fun. We all had our fun, and we did our, they printed the jersey, and they put it on social media, and Ryan O'Reilly, he was silly. He grabbed the wrong bottle. He squeezed BioSteel into his hair. Oh, that's sticky. He had to put water in it. And, oh, silly us, we're down 1-0. And that's when all the Leafs who were Leafs 48 hours ago went, hey, Noel, Ryan, what do you want to do? And Acciari and O'Reilly said, hey, I have an idea for what to do. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I think we are. Let's grind their bones to make our bread! Power play! Matthews steals it! The Bunting scores! Engvall working! Habs take it! They turn it over! You stink! Engvall takes it, shoots, scores! Standine dancing over the blue line, passes it to Ryan O'Reilly while giggling, I assume. O'Reilly to Yarncroke, over to Bunting again! In perfect scoring position! Scores! Ah! And that's how the Leafs went into intermission with a 3-1 lead over Montreal. And then the tweets come in. Oh, the Leafs with a 3-1 lead over Montreal. I bet they're going to hold on to that. This Matthews stealing souls and entire bloodlines while getting hooked gets the puck to Nylander, who can scarcely believe he even has the thing in his possession. Scores! And then David Kampf. Hot damn, they let David Kampf score. Like that was since he was wide open. And Joseph Woll shuts the door. His first win of the season, 29 saves on 30 shots. And none of this chaos, none of this youthful athleticism to make up for his lack of positioning. This dude is dialed. And it really was like a switch flipped and they decided to win the game. And that's actually somewhat terrifying because the Leafs basically haven't played, right, for the last little bit. But let me remind you what's going on. They played the Blackhawks. That was on Wednesday. And they toyed with the Blackhawks after a certain point in the game going, we should probably win, eh? And then after the game, Sheldon Keefe chalked it up to, well, we're not going to evaluate the good or the bad there. This game comes, same thing. They're feeling him out. They're getting, hi, my name's Ryan, my name's Noel, and all of that. And then the Habs scored, and they went, we should just clean this up, eh? And then they wiped them off of the ice surface. I am fascinated to see what the Leafs do with the Blackhawks in less than 24 hours time because it is the second half of a back-to-back. You are going to be going into Chicago. But if this is what they do to teams just screwing around, I am very excited for this little stretch run. I know all the focus is on the new guys. Shout out to Michael Bunting. Shout out to Michael Bunting. And let's have that conversation. Steve, don't backtrack. Backtrack? What? Dude, he was playing bad. There are two versions of Michael Bunting. There is good Michael Bunting and bad Michael Bunting. We were getting bad Michael Bunting. The guy who can't figure out what to do with the puck, and that's probably because he's rattled because of all the after the whistle stuff, the antagonizing the other team, but not in a helpful way, not in the playful, chirpy way, in the way that sees him, a first-line player, go to the box with a fourth-line player, or even worse, putting his team down and screaming, veins out of his neck screaming at the officials, which does not help them call a penalty. There were moments in this game, however, forget the goals, there were moments in this game where Bunting could have rose and didn't. There were a couple instances where David Savard went at him, where the refs grabbed him. Meanwhile, he's doing a trust fall into their arms. He wasn't doing anything. And then the wildest thing happened. This got me up out of my seat on the stream. He got high sticked. Now that's happened a bunch of times recently, but they haven't called it because the officials very openly don't like him. That high stick, despite being an obvious high stick that you have to call, almost felt like you did good tonight. Here's a gold star. So this was not only a disciplined Michael Bunting, but a dialed in Michael Bunting. There was a clip going around from before last game against Chicago when they're all walking out and Mitch does his little secret high fives that he does with everybody. And he says to Bunting, Mike, we need you dialed. I think he called him Michael, which is very parental. Bunting was dialed in this game. Winning battles in the corners, being feisty, being annoying, and being in perfect position to score those two goals. Michael Bunting had a fantastic game, and if that's the Michael Bunting that shows up in round one for the Leafs, whoever plays them is in trouble. Questions. A question from stupid producer Drew, who's not even editing this video, you big idiot, is producer Nick tonight, because Drew is in Utah at the stupid NBA All-Star game. Why even play the playoffs? From what I hear, the Leafs already won the cup. Drew, I hope you're in a special hotel where both sides of the pillow are hot. Admit it, you felt more joy when Dennis Malgin scored the other night than when the Avalanche won the cup in June. Was this Engvall's best game of the season? Feels like a friendly competition in the bottom six. No, I wouldn't say it was his best game of the season, and that's not because I think he had a bad game. I think he's had better games. Engvall's a great player. I thought he had he's a great player when he's dialed, which fits a lot of guys on this team. I was concerned about that line with Kampf and Yarncroke and Engvall because Kampf has 5 goals, and that was his first goal in 28 games. But Yarncroke and Engvall are both fast defensive players who can contribute offensively. But when their game is off, like, the whole team kind of falls apart because they're taxed with, like, covering everybody and everything. Engvall especially, like, he's a weird decision maker when he's not on his game. But he's hit this other gear recently where he sort of understands, like, oh, I'm very fast and I'm also very strong. And instead of doing something silly, I should just Gronk my way through the situation. I should just bully everybody. And that line should work in theory, but I feel like it's so rarely worked whenever they've been put together. But they haven't really been put together since the beginning of the season. So I am very intrigued to see how this goes because, like, I don't really think Dubas can make another move right now because how do you even evaluate, like, you got to know what your team looks like with Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Acciari in it, don't you? And last but not least, here he is with the MVP belt, the real mighty Might Roar. Ryan O'Reilly looks tickled pink to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, and I sure am to have him here. And why not? He's lived every young hockey fan's dream of winning the Stanley Cup. And now he gets to live his dream of being a Toronto Maple Leaf. And I hope he can combine those things to reenact my dream that he lived out of beating Boston in Game 7 in TD Garden to win the cup. Ryan, high five for that. Big, I liked when you did that. So, I got a bit worked up. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I have an O'Reilly and Acciari trade video on this channel that I uploaded earlier today. Jesse Blake did his own reaction on the SDPN channel. What else we got? Oh my goodness, the new Chris Johnston show? You have to check out. He breaks down the O'Reilly trade and how it came about and everything, but then the stuff on the Oilers, the stuff on the Capitals, oh my goodness! An absurd amount of content. Game Over Montreal, where Adam and Andrew Berkshire have a bunch of chicken wings and their faces melt off. Game Over Toronto. Dude, we have a spectacular amount of content all the time. All the time. You never have to be alone. Ever. I love you.